Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak. It is Friday, this is the best day. Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak. Waking up in the morning, got the special Friday feeling. Getting ready in my best clothes now. My juba looking crisp, going all out. Jumping my ride to the masjid. Hearing the khutbah, it's a blessing. Now we're standing in the sun and we're praying. Then I greet our kids with assalamu alaikum. Friday is here and it is the best of days. When we go to the masjid and we all pray. There are blessings on this special day. Thank you, Allah. Thank you for this day. Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak. It is Friday, this is the best day. Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak. Friday Sundays on lockdown, looking fresh with my miswas. Reading Surah Al-Kahf on a Friday, and saying it's all what on the prophet. Peace be upon him. Friday is here and it is the best of days. When we go to the masjid and we all pray, there are blessings on this special day. Thank you, Allah. Thank you for this day. Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak. It is Friday, this is the best day. Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak. We all get this special day to change our ways, to cleanse our hearts, a brand new start. And don't forget that hour of Sa'at is the job where prayers are accepted from our Allah. Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma. Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak.
الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله الذي أحيانا بعد ما ماتنا وإليه النشور. ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا مولانا محمد إمام المرسلين إلى يوم الدين. أقول السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We give glory to Almighty Allah who has given us the opportunity to be alive today. We praise Allah for His mercy over every one of us. We also greet our brothers and sisters in Islam all over Africa and beyond Africa. We say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is ABDRAHMAN bin Abdul Karim Alabanjo, Abu MUBEENAT. So I'm the one presenting the program for today, topic Jamaat Tonic on the African Portal Radio TV, South Africa, whereby we engage our Muslim brothers, Muslim scholars on the importance of Islam and to show a kind of awareness, orientation, and to educate our brothers, both Muslim brothers and sisters and non-Muslims, on the lot of program, a lot of topics, a lot of the issues in Islam that is not clear to everybody. So that is why we have it known as Jamaat Tonic, whereby we bring different scholars all over the world who are brothers, who are sisters in Islam. So that is why we are engaging another guest speaker for today. But before we move to the topic, or before we introduce our guest lecturer for today, so as I rightly said, whenever we have a program for Jumat like this, so we do encourage our viewers and our listeners to go to our Facebook page and like the page. That is the African Portal Radio TV International, South Africa. You just like the page, then you can see us live. Also on our YouTube page, African Portal Media House. If you search for the name, you can subscribe to our program on that YouTube page. Then you can watch us live. Likewise on our Instagram page, the African Portal Radio TV International. So when we go on these three media, so we can see us live, watch us live there, and with that you can share our programs and watch us every Friday. We have this Jumat Tonic, whereby we bring different personalities, Islamic scholars, onto our program here. So I remain yours, Abu Mubina. So the topic we are going to be discussing today, that we have gotten our able scholar, our able intellectual, who is going to do the justice to the topic for today. So the topic is child upbringing in Islam. As we all knew, if you were here last week, so we discussed a lot about marriage. We discussed a lot about uh, the nikah, whereby we have our brothers who discussed that one with us. Then we discussed another topic concerning that of last week program, whereby our lecturer did justice to how do we do akiko in Islam, that is naming and celebration in Islam, whereby our brother from Nigeria also gave us detail about how is it important, how do we celebrate, how do we name our child in Islam. That was the topic for last week. So after that, we thought of it that as a teacher, as a tutor, an educator, if you follow the curriculum in education, it means when you move from that, how do you name your child? So the next topic should be, how do you raise your child? How do you give your child a normal upbringing in Islam? That is why we came about this topic for today, child upbringing in Islam, which is also known as Tarbiyatul Awlad fil Islam. So with this, we can't just do justice to the topic by ourselves. That is why we went far to African country to pick one of our greatest scholar, our Sheikh, so to do justice to this topic given, because we can't just give it to anybody, or you can't just give it to somebody who is not married. So the topic must be for somebody who has got married, who has been raising kids, who knows the practical aspect of this topic we want to engage him with. That is why we call our scholar to do justice to this topic. So in person of our the person we are engaging today as a lecturer, as a speaker, guest speaker for today's topic, is a scholar of Islamic study. Is also the mudir of KHARASHI, Quranic memorization and Islamic studies in IBADAN. That is PEGBA in Ibadan. Also, is a Mufasir too. So he's a well-known scholar in Ibadan. So in person of our Sheikh LUKMAN or Lalika KHARASHI. So I'm using this medium to welcome our guest speaker for today's topic in person of our Sheikh LUKMAN KHARASHI. I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to our Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. So as as I introduce you, I would also like you to greet our viewers and our listeners who are watching us throughout the world on the African Portal Radio TV International, South Africa.
Thank you. I greet all our viewers and listeners around the world by the most and the best ways of greeting, saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, as you have done so by greeting us, so I would just like you to just give a brief introduction. I may not be able to do justice to that introduction like you wanted it to be. So I would just like you to just brief it. Who is Malam Kharashi? Who is Sheikh Kharashi? Then we go to the main topic for today.
Thank you. I am LUKMAN KHARASHI Olalika Abu ABDRAHMAN by name. I am the Naib Imam, Islamic High School Central Mosque, Bashar IBADAN, and equally the Mufassir of the same mosque. I have a school named KHARASHI Center for QURANIC Memorization and Islamic Studies at PEGBA, OLULOYO area, IBADAN. So I'm equally the Director of Studies for the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria Workers Branch. It is called IBADAN Central Branch.
Okay.
So I'm equally the missionary, the missioner for this Muslim community, PEGBA, OLULOYO and its environment. So Alhamdulillah, I'm servant of Allah, and I'm just brother Lukman KHARASHI, Lukman KHARASHI, Olalika Abu ABDRAHMAN. Thank you.
Jazakumullah khairan for the brief introduction. Thank you. I hope our viewers and our listeners can hear you clearly on that. So that's our guest lecturer, I call it guest speaker for today's topic, that is upbringing in Islam. If you are watching our program every week, so last week's topic was on the Akikatu fil Islam, that is the naming and its celebration in Islam. That was being delivered by Malam Abdulkani Sarafadin Nonijo from Shaki Area Council. So he was explaining to us last week about how we should give nice name, beautiful names to our children in Islam, and how we can guide our children to the successful path in Islam. The moral aspect, the physical, the way we relate, they can relate with people in the society. Now today, that is why we have to continue by bringing our Ustad, our Sheikh, our Mudir for this topic of child upbringing in Islam. So I would like you to just give us a detail. Is bearing a child important in Islam? So I want you to explain that in detail.
Going back to the topic, child upbringing in Islam,
No.
and following the question you have just thrown now,
Yeah.
that is bearing a child important in Islam? It is most important. How? Islam, by nature, it's based on references. The Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in one of his statements, he said, and I quote, he said, Inna Allah sa'il kulla ra'i amma istara'ahu hafidha am dayya. The Messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Allah Azza wa Jal shall ask, or we ask, everybody about what he shepherd, what he controls. He said, Allah will want to know whether you protect it or you mismanage it. This is more applicable to the issue of children. If children is not important, how will Allah ask you about it? If it is not important, how will Allah ask you about how you manage your child? If something just ordinary, Allah may give you child or children and not bother to ask you any question about it. But He wants to know whether you are to manage your children or not. That is why in Islam, childbearing is understood to be trust. So it's a trust. It is important. It's a trust of no other person, but trust of Allah Azza wa Jal. Trust of Allah Azza wa Jal. In addition, the messengers of Allah, the noblest of mankind, one of them was Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. Ibrahim did not bless the child on time. Allah delayed giving him child, and he was praying till his old age. She is around age 90. He was praying, Rabbi habili min as-salihin. Oh my Lord, give me from good children. Give me, bless me with a good child. So if childbearing is not important, and Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam wouldn't have prayed Allah to give him. He would not pray for it. He would take it as his order. But he was praying. The same thing applicable to Zakaria alayhi salatu wasalam. He was equally praying, and Allah, while he was answering Ibrahim, what did Allah say? He says, فَبَشَّرْنَاهُ بِغُلَامٍ حَلِيمٍ فَبَشَّرْنَاهُ. Then we give him glad tidings. So give glad tidings. You know what it means? It means when you have a good news, that means bearing a child is very good thing. That was why Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, Allah told her that وَبَشَّرْنَاهُ بِغُلَامٍ حَلِيمٍ, that He gave him glad tidings of having a child. So childbearing is a very good thing and is an important thing. In addition, in one of the verses of the Quran, is taught to this Allah says, so,
Hello?
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says,
Okay.
hello?
Yeah, can you hear me clearly? All right. You can go on, sir.
Said,
yeah.
Now, Allah said that in that Quran, I mean in Surah An-Nisa, Allah says, Allah says He warned you, He's informing you, He's telling you to take care of your children. يَوْصِيكُمْ بِأَوْلَادِكُمْ لِلذَّكَرِ مِثْلُ حَظِّ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. That you have to take note of this. You have to take note of your children. You have to give a male double of what you have to give to a female. One of the noblest sheikh on earth, Sheikh Salih Fawzan, rahimahullah, he said that in this verse, one of those things we infer, because there are numbers of ways of inferring some things from verses of Quran that could be done by the scholars, real scholars, not mere scholars. So this sheikh said one of those things that we infer from this verse is that Allah says, that I'm warning you, I'm telling you, I'm instructing you about your child or your children. He said, the meaning is that on the day of Qiyamah, Allah will first of all ask the parents, the guardians about their children before Allah will turn to the children and ask them about their parents. So, to the fact that the importance of childbearing goes to the fact that on the day of Qiyamah, you will be questioning, you will be called for accounting how you take care of your children. Even before the children will be asked of how they take care of you. So bearing a child is an important thing. It's something serious as Islam is concerned. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah, you have answered it in detail. So if we want to enjoy you more, so I'll be giving you a lot of time to just give details of every question I pose to you, so that people can understand better about child upbringing in Islam. So the next one is,
Thank you.
the next question I'm going to ask that you are going to shed more light on it is, how do we raise our kids in Islam? How do we raise our child? I mean, our children. How do we raise them in Islam?
Thank you very much. Most of the parents, we are making certain mistakes. We did not know where the rearing of children or bringing them even starts. We believe it is after we might have given it to them. And child upbringing is of two types. There is one that has to do with we have to do it in haste. We have to do it earlier. That is the one we have to do before the child even come onto the earth. That is al-ajila. We do that earlier. And there is other one that we have to delay. That will come after the child might have been given birth to. So let me quickly mention little of those that we have to do before the child is given birth to. Is to choose the right spouse, to choose the right partner, to choose the right father for our child, the right mother for our child. Because child upbringing is like you are forming an industry or you are forming a company. You have to look for the best workers, the like-minded workers. So your partner, your spouse must be the best that share your minds, share your understanding in bearing or upbringing the child. So you must marry the best wife or the best husband. And that was what Allah says in the Quran. Allah says, "Fankihu ma taba lakum minan nisa'i." In Surah An-Nisa, Allah ordered us that "Fankihu ma taba lakum minan nisa." Al-Imam Qurtubi said that "Fankihu ma taba lakum minan nisa" means you are to marry a wife of your choice. You have to choose an appropriate wife that will determine your expectation on your children. That's ditto for women too, not only men. How? There was a woman. She has a lady named Kulthum. This Kulthum was not that Kulthum of the Prophet. It's a woman. She had a daughter. Her name was Kulthum, according to Imam Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani in Bulugh al-Maram. And the Messenger of Allah got to this woman one day, and the Messenger of Allah was inquiring, who are those that are asking for this lady in marriage? The woman mentioned names, and she mentioned Abdurrahman bin Auf. The Messenger of Allah told him, "Inkihiha li Abdurrahman ibn Auf, fa'innahu bi khiyarina." That marry her to Abdurrahman bin Auf, because Abdurrahman bin Auf is one of the noblest of us, is one of the best of us. So we are expected to marry a good person. Abraham was a very good man. So the Messenger of Allah told that woman to marry her daughter to know a nobleman in character and every other thing. To get it clearly, the Messenger of Allah told the guardians that I call unto you, the guardians, the parents, if anybody come to you to ask for your daughters in marriage, he said, if that person is religious, is sweet with you, you are pleased with the religion, you are pleased with his character, he said, marry your wife, marry your daughter out for that person, to that person. That means the condition the Messenger of Allah gave there is man tawbawna dinahu wa khulqa. Somebody that you are pleased with his religion and his character. So it is expected that you choose somebody that is religiously upright and character-wise upright. So that is what is expected of us in marriage. What I'm saying is, all these have relations. It has implications on the child. And one of our big Sheikh Al-Albani rahimahullah, Sheikh Al-Albani said the position of mother or wife in marriage is like the position of land to the farmer. that if a farmer needs a very good plant or a very good fruit, if he or wants to plant on the ground, the first thing he needs to get a very good and a virgin land. A virgin land will help him and assist him to succeed on his farming work. Yeah. So that is exactly marrying wife. If you are able to choose a good wife, you are successful in upbringing your child. But if the farmer gets a wrong land, the problem will be too much. He will work tirelessly. He will stress himself. At the end, we have little things to get. But if it's a virgin land with little effort, you have more things to get. So that's exactly to get a good wife. So the first thing we have to do, even before the child comes on board, is that we choose the right partner. I don't know what I'm passing message.
Yeah. You're on the line, sir.
And more importantly, it is understood that our children, they pick from us. They inherit things from us. That by the time we give them to them, they bring some things onto this earth that they inherit from us. So if you are a good wife, if you're a good father, you are going to find that in your children. That's where it is expected that to start with. We are expected to start with. One of the scholars of Islam brought it that one of the Arabs, then he called his children together and he was telling them that he had favored them in 2 weeks. He said one of the favors he did for them that he favored them before they were born. The children were lamenting that, our father, we do not understand the favor made for us before we were born. How do you favor somebody yet to be born? He said he chose for them good wife, good mother, that he has chosen for them good mother. They all appreciated that. So choosing a good father or good mother is something important because that has a lot to do in the life or in upbringing the child to be a good mother. In addition to that, before we give birth to our children, we have to be prayerful. Because and we have to be prayerful. And before I jump from that, some of us, because the case of children is like you are farming. If you want to have a seed, like okra seed, and you determine to have you need tomato, for example. Somebody that needs tomato now put okra seed on the ground. There is no amount of prayer we will say that will turn okra seed to tomato. The best is that you put the right thing in the ground. So at the point of producing, so to put our children, that is where we start. Are we rearing? Are we planning to have a good child? The message of Allah told us that when you want to meet your wife, or let me say on the first day that the wife comes into the house, like it has been discussed in the last week, you put your hand on his head, you pray. Because this life, everything has two ways, two faces, the good and the bad. We have the enjoyment of our car. The good aspect of the car is that you drive it. God forbid bad thing. That you are driving the car, that the car hits you. When the car hits somebody, that's the other way. When the car tumbles, that's the other way. When it has accident, that's the other way. God forbid bad thing. That's on everything. So it is in two ways. That's exactly our wife too, and the husband. But Islam expects to pray for your wife, to seek for the goodness in her. So having done that, when you get home together, you're expected to observe nothing together. To observe nothing together. In that nothing, just 2 rakas of, you can read any surah after Fatiha. Then when you complete nothing, you pray to Allah to be with you for the life you are opening. Because a new life entirely. From there, you ask Allah for the lack of children you want. After that, when you are meeting, when you are conjugating, you should have good intention of having a good child. Then you pray. That prayer is a lot. The message of Allah told us that whoever meets his wife and says, Bismillah, Allahumma jannibna shaitan, wa jannib shaitan ma razaqtana. Whoever says that prayer, Bismillah, Allahumma jannibna shaitan, wa jannib shaitan ma razaqtana. Oh Allah, cover us from devil, protect us from devil, and protects whatever you are giving out of this conjugation from shaitan. He said, if Allah determined to give them child through that affair, through that marital sexual affair, that child will be protected from devil. You know, if we are able to do that, it means a lot. But so many people, they have been failing to do that. And devil is there. He has promised, because it is because of our father that he was caused. Why he denounced to bow in respect for our father. Allah caused him, and he had vowed that he will not allow us to see or to return to that paradise. So he's there all the time to disturb, to cause chaos in our life. So that is why we must be prayerful. In another tradition, the Messenger of Allah says, whoever meets his wife and did not say prayer, shaitan will have share in that affair. So these days, when you have children that are bad, that are displaying thuggery, that are rude to their parents, that are not okay in the society, you have to trace that back to their birth. How did the parents plant them? That is what they plant for. When you are planting okra seed and okra has come out, you know, so no, Allah help me to change this okra to tomato. I don't say Allah will not accept that, but you have started wrongly. So we have to watch that area. In addition, we need to be more prayerful on child upbringing. I have to tell you, child upbringing beyond I'm an intellectual, I'm a man, I have everything that it needs. No, it requires more prayer. It requires more prayer. That is why I will go to another one. By the time your wife conceives, the period of conceive, it is expected that in the 4th month, or may I say, yes, 4th month, the message of Allah told us that after the 4th month and 10 days, Allah would turn the water, the semen to, to different stages till it's turned to a human being. And Allah said, وَرُسَلَ عَلَيْهِ مَلَكٍ, and Allah will send a malak, an angel. That angel will command of 4 things. It is from the womb that the life of that child will be determined. And it is known in Islam that prayer has effect. Prayer changes, influences our destination. Why don't the parents, having noticed the wife conceived, both wife and husband, and why don't they go into prayers, especially around that 4 months? So you can't say precisely, but around that 4 months to 5th month, why don't you engage yourself in prayer? You have to be prayerful. Tell Allah, I want this child to be a better one. I want him to be this. I want him to be that. Seek Allah's protection. Seek from Allah what you wish your child to be. You have that power. Minding that the Messenger of Allah says, one of the prayers Allah would never reject is the prayer of the parent over their child. So you have that power, but we have been misusing it. Many of us don't care. The husband will go out and come back and only kiss the wife and kiss the pregnant. I'm expecting you. All that are fine, but you should have the prayer so that you don't have that child. Beyonce and a scholar. Don't forget that Canaan is a child of a prophet. Canaan denounces his father. He did not follow the instruction given by Allah to the father. He felt he would escape. So you don't just rely because I'm a scholar, I'm alpha, I'm this or that. You have to be more prayerful. In addition, at the part That is when the child is given birth to. All these are things we have to do even before we welcome the child onto the heart. So when the child comes on board onto this heart, there is a very important actions we have to take. One, when you give birth to your child, the wife is expected to say Alhamdulillah. And the first thing is we call Adhan into his ear. According to Sheikh Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, he rendered that hadith Hassan in his Bulugh al-Marab, and Sheikh Hassan Basri, he practiced the act of calling Adhan into the ear of a newborn baby. And Hassan Basri is a tabi'i, is one of the senior category of tabi'un. He has some special qualities because he was born into the room of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hassan Basri's mother was I don't want to call it, she wasn't a slave, but she was an helper to the wife of the Prophet, Salama. So Hassan Basri's mother was an helper to Salama, the wife of the Prophet. So on that day when she gave birth to him, it was in the room of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Ali radiallahu anhu said, Hassan Basri, he always talks like the Prophet. That his statements always resemble the ahadith of the Prophet. Because Allah blessed him with wisdom. And he was a strong tabi. So he practiced the act of calling Adhan into the ear of babies. In addition with what is known in the hadith that is rendered Hassan. So you may call into the ear. That Adhan will serve a lot. Sheikh Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani said, no, Sheikh Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, no, Ibn Qayyim, I'm sorry, Sheikh Ibn Qayyim, in his Tuhfatul Mawlud, the student of Ibn Taymiyyah, Sheikh Ibn Qayyim said, this prayer will serve a lot. He said, the first thing that when you pray and your baby hears that, you know, we put our mouth close to the ear. You don't make too much shout, little. You call Adhan. That Adhan will first of all determine that child, when he comes on board, the first thing he hears about oneness of God. Oneness of God. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Sharan la ilaha illallah. I declare that Allah is one. Like that. So it brings about tawheed in his life. Don't ask, can the baby hear? He hears. One of those things that functions first in our body is the ear. Ear functions first. Yeah. But we don't want to go into that because of our time. Okay. So it will do that. Second thing, by the time you are calling for Adhan, according to Hadith, is that of Abi Hurairah and Sahih Muslim, the Messenger of Allah reported to have said that when an Adhan is made, Shaitan will run away to the place he could not hear that Adhan again. That is when the baby is given birth to, and you call Adhan to his ear, Shaitan runs away. Meaning that the first encountering Shaitan will have with the baby, Shaitan runs away from him. And it is common saying that first impressions lives longer. So if the first encounter the baby and the Shaitan have on earth, the Shaitan runs away, it means a lot. But how many of us do this? Instead of doing this, we'll be clapping, we'll be singing. Even some people will play music with drums that we even call shayateen. After this, there is a very important prayer according to Abu Hurairah in the Sahih Muslim. Abu Hurairah said, the Messenger of Allah reported to have said that everybody gives unto this earth by the fact that Shaitan touches everybody. Everybody on earth born, Shaitan touches them. Except two babies. Who are those babies? It's it's Isa alayhi salatu wasalam and his mother. Isa alayhi salatu wasalam and his mother. That is Jesus and the mother. How? He said because of the prayer of the grandmother. That is because of the prayer of the mother of Maryam, who was Hannah. Hannah was the one that prayed. He said, while he gave birth to that baby, she was expecting to give birth to a baby boy, but she gave birth to a girl. She said, "Samay to her Maryam." I named her Maryam. Mama said Maryam means Abida, is servitude to Allah. He said, "In wa'idni u'idhuha bika wa dhurriyyataha min ash-shaytan rajim." Inni u'idhuha bika wa dhurriyyataha min ash-shaytan rajim. Abu Hurairah said, the Messenger of Allah said that Allah pray for the baby that inni u'idhuha bika, and I seek Allah's protection for you. Wa dhurriyyataha, for her and for her offsprings. Imam Qutb said, Duriya could mean a boy, could mean a girl, could mean direct child or great grandchildren. So that is everything that will come through them. I seek Allah's protection for you and whatever will come through your lineage to be protected from the devil. He said that was a prayer the Annatu said to Maryam. And that prayer is sent on Isa alayhi salatu wassalam. Mind you, Isa did not have any child, but Isa is coming back to remarry, inshallah rahman. In addition, Abu Hurairah, while completing this hadith, he said, "Oh dear people, if you love, you should be saying this prayer unto your children." My dear listeners, how will you love that Allah's protection is on your child? And that will be done if this prayer is said unto them. The prayer is to be said by the mother. But if the mother is indisposed, it happens that after birth, some women are indisposed. That is one of the reasons we are expected to take our delivery, to let our delivery be taken in the Muslim hospitals where this ethics will be discharged. The father can do it, or anybody around that can do the prayer, but it is most expected to be done by the mother. To save our time, all these are expected to be done before the child born or immediately the child is given birth to. So, and most of them are in prayers. Prayer. So you cannot raise your child and say minus prayer. With whatever you have, with whoever you are. These are prophets. These are solihun. These are pious people, good people. They are praying towards their God. Now, when we talk of we have given birth to our child, we have 8 stages in upbringing our children, according to the scholars of Islam. Okay. 8 stages. First one, we call it tarbiyatu imaniya. Our faith needs training. We need to train our children towards faith. The problem, most of the Muslims, especially in Africa, most of our problems are or is we do not learn tawheed, we do not learn faith. Most of us will claim that my parents are Muslims, so I'm a Muslim. So we are practicing Islam by inheritance, and it beyond that. Allah says, وَعَلَمُوا أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُ. He instructed us that you should learn that your Creator, your God, is only one. So we have to educate our children. We have to teach them. It is by teaching. You teach them towards faith. You teach them what faith is. How do you teach small baby now? By the time you want to suck your baby, the mother has to do a lot. By the time you want to give your baby, you want to suck her, you want to breastfeed her, you say Bismillah. You say it aloud. Like I told you, that the ear work first. The baby is hearing all that you are saying. Bismillah. Bismillah. Then, when you are through, you say Alhamdulillah. You are saying all this in respect of teaching. Then when your baby, then you chant more adhkar. You don't, if you want to sing, you sing a song that has to do with Allah Azza wa Jal. Your praise, you praise Allah, you praise His Prophet, you praise this deen. You can have songs of that nature, poems. So you can be making that. Instead of a kind of singing that you be dancing, drumming, that one brings about devil. So then you chant Adhkar, Subhanallah, Walhamdulillah, Wa la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. If the child is hearing this a lot, the child will grow up upon that. The Arab will say, Man sabba ala shayin shaba alayhi. Man sabba ala shayin shaba aw man shabba ala shayin saba alayhi. Whoever that is grow up on a thing, that spend his young age on a thing, we grow old on it. It's a common adage. If you are trained with a certain thing and that thing becomes your habit, when you grow up, that is what you'll be doing. So if the child is hearing here and there, as we build Allah, you will come up that faith. Then when the child is getting, when he becomes around, when he grow up around to Mumayyiz, that knows the right from the left, you now teach him more about Allah. When you want to scare your child, you don't scare your child with dog. The dog is coming. No, you scare him or her with Allah, so that he fears Allah, not the dog. You don't scare your child by saying, I will call on to police. No. Tell him, if you dare tell a lie, I will call on to Allah. Let your child's minds be attributed towards Allah. And don't threaten your child with Cain. Threaten him with Allah. Then when you are making promise him by the name of Allah. Daddy, will you get me something? Said, I will get you by God's grace. Inshallah. I pray Allah make it easy. I pray Allah make it easy. If the mom is saying Allah make it easy, mom, daddy say Allah make it easy, everybody is that mentioning Allah. That child will know that somebody is there. There's Allah and is Almighty. That reminds me of a short story. This story, I am not saying it is an hadith, but it's a story we hear from elder scholars. We just have something to learn from it.
Okay.
That there was a particular child in a particular home. The mother wants to attract the child's mind towards Allah Azza wa Jal. And when the child goes to madrasa, to school in the morning, before he comes back, the mother will have prepared food. And the mother will tell the child that when you come back, go to some place, pray to Allah, and you check this place, you'll find your food. So the mother has been trying to prepare the food, but not allowing this boy to know that she prepares it. Until one day, the mother went out, maybe she went to the market, she returned home lately, and the boy got home earlier than the mother. The boy went to pray, maybe to observe Nafi, or to say one kind of prayer, and go straight to where the mother used to keep the food. When the boy opened the place, he got the food and took it to where he eats. The mother was coming home, rushing. She wants to cover her. But on getting home, she finds the boy eating, or has eaten. Wondered that how do you do about it? The boy will say, how do I do about what?
You prepare the food.
It is Allah that provides, and I've called on who provides, and He has provided for me as usual. The mother said, maybe that today I have to tell you the truth.
Allah.
That the food you have been eating, I'm the one preparing it. Just to link your heart, just to link you directly to your God. But today, Allah has proved Himself that He could do it all.
Allah.
That is Allah. That is Allah. Let me remind you of another one. It happened during the life of Umar ibn Khattab. This is found in books of Islam. Umar ibn Khattab, Allahu Akbar Kabira. Allahu Akbar. This was Umar. You know, Umar, as a president, he was going about to check on his people. That is what a good leader does. So on one very night, he was going around and he had a boy or a lady and a baby girl, a lady, and a woman, they had their conversation. The mother wanted to add water into the milk. She milked her cow and camel, but the milk gotten is not up to what she used to get, and she was going to the market on the money and in the next day. So she was thinking what she could do to get more milk so that she will not disappoint our buyers. So she was trying to mix water, but the daughter, this she was trying to tell her, I don't do it. The mother said, how do you want us to do? The daughter shouted, Ami woman is coming, Ami woman is coming. But the mother was scared to see that Ami woman is not coming. The daughter then said, oh my mother, if Ami woman is not here, but Allah that created Ami woman is here, looking unto us. And immediately the mother withdrew. She withdrew from that act of mixing milk with water. Unknowing to them that Ami woman was hiding. Ami woman returned home. The next day, she came and blessed them. And she required that daughter should be given in marriage to one of the male children's house. This is wonderful. So a baby girl. So it is, we have to train them towards that. So we need that. Some of us that we go out, when you come back, or you are inside, and a visitor comes and asks, is your mommy around? The baby, because Allah created them, they are pure. Their brain is tabula rasa. It's plain. Their mind is plain. It is all what we put there that will be there. So if you are the one that teach him or her, somebody asks of you, is your mommy around? The baby said, yes, she's inside. Or the baby ran in and said, so person is asking of you, said, tell her I'm not around. And the baby came and said, my mother said I should tell you she's not around. You run out, which kind of baby are you? You want another thing. That's nothing. So we have to be very careful. I mean, compared to Imaniya, we are the one that we educate them as faith is concerned. Let them know that whatever befalls you, be it good or the other land, is from the hands of Allah. You have to train them towards that. And we have many examples. In the house of the Prophet, there was a boy brought by Salama. After the demise of Abu Salama, the messenger of Allah wedded Salama, and Abu Salama brought a boy. One day that boy was eating in the presence of the Prophet. He started eating with his left hand. The messenger of Allah told him, Ya Ghulam, oh young boy, Samillah, mention Allah at the beginning of your eating. That is, you don't just eat, you're supposed to say Bismillah. Saying Bismillah has to do with faith, that in the name of Allah, I start eating this food. Scholars said a lot of meaning towards saying Bismillah. That is, I seek Allah to bless this food by saying Bismillah. Waqul biyaminik, and you should eat with your right hand. Waqul mimma yalik, and you should eat with the closest, with the one that's close to you in the food. That you don't eat in the bowl of food. You don't put your hand in the right, in the left, in the middle, here and there. No, you should eat from your side. These are, the messenger of Allah was doing what? He was giving this boy upbringing. So we have to teach them. Because of time, let's move up. Let us move up. The second one is Tarbiyatu Jasadiyya or Jismiyya. It is our right to train our child how to maintain their body. Allah gave us these children as trust. When we were given, all part of their body are completed commonly, except when Allah bring a test commonly. So when they are growing up, they are growing with all this. So it is a mother will protect them for them. We manage this for them until when they grow up to manage them by themselves. You bath for them to maintain their skin. You brush their teeth to maintain the teeth. You clean for them, you comb their hair, you give them nourished food that give them good health. If all these are not well managed, you are going to be accounted for it. You are going to be accounted for it. Allah will ask you. So you are the one that will manage your child's working manner. You know, some child, when they work and bend their body towards left or right. Some of them will be working carelessly. So you have to watch them. Tell you tell them how to brush teeth. So you brush for them every morning to teach them that you brush your teeth. You wash their clothes to teach them to wash our clothes. You wear their clothes for them to let them know how to wear clothes. You teach them how to maintain their body. It is your duty. You don't tell me you have office work, you have this assignment. The primary assignment on you is to maintain your children's health, your children's body, especially the women. That is why husbands are to go out there to work, but the women are to take care of their home. In that hadith, when the Messenger was he said, وَالْمَرْأَةُ أَوَّ الزَّوْجَةُ, and the wife shall be asked how she takes care of the property of the family, of the husband rather. Scholar will say, what is the important aspect of our property is our children. So it is the right of the mother to take care of their children's body, though it is the two responsibility. But it is more shoulder by the mother. That reminds me of what happened to Imam Malik. When Imam Malik was young, his mother, when Imam Malik would be going to class to receive lectures from his tutors, his mother would buy for him, wear a very good clothes for him, and perfume his body to teach him that we respect the books of Allah, we respect the knowledge of Islam. So it is whatever we give to our children that they will grow on upon. You should comb their hair for them, you teach them to maintain their bodies. It's our duty. Then, tarbiyatu khalqiyya. That the next one is to teach them how to be managed. It is your right. It is our duty. We take care of their manner. So many of people that grow unmannerly today, that habit of manner, or how would I put it, it is not something that just come onto them. It is our right. We teach them manner. It's our duty. The messenger of Allah, one day sleeping, he had a dream that two people came to him on his dream. He said on that dream he was using chewing stick, and he had some stick with him. Some chewing stick are remaining, but he was using one. He said two people came. One of them was young, one is an old. He said two of them inquired for chewing stick. He said he then rendered his chewing stick. He was giving it to the young one first. That young one said, Al-Akbar fal-Akbar, that give it to your elderly one, give it to the elderly one first. So you have to teach your children that they must respect elderly people. He said, fal-Akbar, Al-Akbar fal-Akbar, that you give it to the elderly one first. So it is our duty that we teach our children that we respect elderly ones. Let me add this. Okay. Do you know why Abdullah ibn Abbas became what he became? Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala anhu became Allahu Akbar. He became the dean of a university. He became everything, one in all. Allah gathered knowledge from Abdullah ibn Abbas. And the messenger of Allah referred to him as Turjuman al-Quran. That he knows that to analyze Quran, there is nobody that can surpass Abdullah ibn Abbas. But the messenger of Allah prayed for him. Were you aware? what led to that prayer? That's the area I'm driving at. It was a good day. Though there were numbers of times Abdullah Abbas received the same prayer from the Prophet of Allah, but his character, his good character. One day, the Messenger of Allah entered toilet, and on his return, he found a bowl of water that was placed down for him to perform ablution with. So he was asking, who brought it? He said it was Abdullah ibn Abbas. And he prayed for him that Allahumma faqihu fi din wa alimhu tahwila. Oh Allah, give this boy understanding of his religion, of your religion, and give him understanding of your Quran, knowledge of analyzing Quran. Scholars could not say that this is the person that knows Quranic exegesis more than Abdullah ibn Abbas. Attend the place Abdullah ibn Abbas first. Attend the place Ali ibn Abu Talib first. Attend the place Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. They mix them. Because that prayer, Allah accepted it. But what brought about the prayer? Because he displayed manners to the Prophet of Allah. And in our own culture, we say, the manners begins from home. So you teach your children manner. You teach them how to greet. The Messenger of Allah told us that the younger one should greet the older first. The people in short number should greet the people in higher number. The person in a car or in a ride will greet the person walking. Like that. So this religion is a religion of etiquette, or ethics rather. So it is the right of the parent to teach their children. You teach them how to be mannered. You tell them to greet. You tell them when you are going with an elderly person, according to the Church of Islam, when you are going out with an elderly person, you allow that person to go in your front and you come behind. When you go somewhere with an elderly person and you're supposed to talk there, two of you, you will allow that elderly person to talk, except he allows you to talk. When you are eating, you allow the elderly person to put his hand on the food before you do. That was the day. The Messenger of Allah was sitting there, and there is a food in his front. The normal thing with the companions is that when they want to eat, they would first, none of them would put his hand on the food until the Messenger of Allah do so. But suddenly, a baby girl, or let me say a girl, rushed out to dip her hand into that food. The Messenger of Allah hold the hand. And an Arab also come out, a Bedouin Arab, village Arab, rush out to dip his hand into that food. The Messenger of Allah hold that hand together with that of the girl. And the Messenger of Allah said, these two hands is together with the hand of Shaitan. That Shaitan wanted to render that food lawful for himself without saying Allah's name. So that was why he sent these two people to put their hands in it. We have 2 or 3 lessons learned from this hadith. One, the companions, they don't put their hands in the food before the food. Why? It needs to be honored. So whenever you are with people of honor, you teach your children, you don't do things before they do it. You go together with your boss to a place, you don't sit down before your boss. This is Islam. You teach them in your home. Your boss will sit first. When your boss sits, you don't sit.
That's all.
You are giving food, you allow your boss to eat. If it's not ready, you take permission. And there are numbers of this with the companions. And the second lesson is that any food you eat without mentioning Allah's name, you are eating with devil. That was what the Messenger of Allah said, Shaitan has wanted to render that food lawful for himself. And the Messenger of Allah held their 2 hands. And he said, Bismillah. Then all of them were eating. And there are numbers of these. Let me take another one. Tarbiyatu nafsiyya.
Yeah.
Tarbiyatu nafsiyya.
Okay. All right. Can you hear me?
May I go on?
Yeah, you can
Yes,
go
I
on.
can hear.
You can go on.
Okay. So that's one is you teach them about themselves.
See, yeah.
That is individual. Uh, because at times, some of our children, we don't allow them to display their nature. We have made them to realize that everything is daddy, mommy. To the fact that when some of them grow up, when they get to higher institutions, things that is all to go do by themselves, they look for their parents to do it. You don't allow them to do certain things. That we have to see. Let them know their true nature. Teach them to identify themselves. When they identify themselves, allow them to deliver. That was what we will get in Surah Al-Safat. When Allah Azza wa Jal ordered Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam to sacrifice his child. It is an order, not an advice. Yet, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, you know what he did? He called unto his child. In Surah Al-Safat, he called unto Ismail. That, oh my child, inni ra'aytu fi manami anni adbahuk. I saw in my dream that I slaughtered you. And the child had understood that his father is a prophet, and any dream dreamed by the prophet is a commandment. So the father was discussing, conversing with the child in concern. You know what the child said? He said, Ya Abed, if I ma tu'maru satajiduni inshallah min as-sabirin. My father, do what is being, what you have been commanded of. You will find me to be part of the patient's one. The bottom line there is this. You know, the father engaged, allowed the boy talk on his matter. He doesn't say, I'm the father now, I can't do anything. No, he allowed him. He gave him chance to talk. He gave him ways to reason. Perhaps he can reason. But a good child that has been given good upbringing before, he gave a good suggestion. My dear viewers, it is very important that our children, we allow them to talk in your home. Many times, you ask their mother, what are we eating in this house this morning? The mother wanted to say something. The baby said, let us eat rice. You don't say, shut up, your mother. No, don't say that. Allow him or her to express his or her feelings before it is too late. He may say, let us eat rice and pounded yam. You know, it's funny. How will you combine rice and pounded yam? After he or she says rubbish, you put him or her right. So that he will know that so one can make mistake and will be corrected by another person. If you have not allowed him to talk and show you where he makes mistake and you correct him, when he grows up or she and make a mistake outside, he will not want to allow people to correct him or her. And what you know, people will be looking at that. Don't mind him or her. He will not listen. And you cause it in his own life. And so many things like that. And so you have to train your child to understand his individuality. You should let him know that, you know, we have our differences. Some of us will laugh at everything you smile. But some people, you see them like soldiers. Yeah. And some people, they are very generous. So you should try to let them express let them display their individual. So you correct where it is necessary. Okay. So you don't say, and you don't do everything for them. Allow them to do some things. That reminds me of what happened when Abdullah ibn Abbas' father, Abbas, used to take his child along, even when the prophet was alive. He goes with him around. We should do that to our children. We should allow them to see what you see, so they can listen as you listen too. So he has been taking him to sit with elderly ones. Allahu Akbar. That is one of those things that help Abdullah ibn Abbas. So we shouldn't always keep our children indoor. So you allow them at least at times to see what you see. Then you correct them where it is necessary. You put them correct. So they were on seat. And the messenger of Allah asked a question. None of the companions know answer to these questions. None of them knows it. The messenger of Allah told them the answer. While they were returning, Abdurrahman told his father, Father, only I was feeling shy. I knew that answer when the messenger of Allah asked. But I was not, I was unable to talk because I feel shy. That I would like to when you, my father and your people do not talk. Abbas said, my boy, how joyful would I have been if you had said answer to it? So many times you don't know that these children, they are very good, they are very smart. In some areas you feel they cannot do. So tarbiyatu nafsiyya.
So,
Let them get themselves.
So before you move on, sir, so just sorry to cut you in because the time is not on our side. Maybe you have just 2 or 3 minutes to round up. We are going to have part 2 of this program, inshallah. So you can continue within 3 minutes. You can round it up within 3 minutes.
So, inshallah. So all I'm saying is just that we just have to give them chances to display whom they are. Let them, we have to give them free hands, not in totality. Because there is a principle in Sharia that you don't give free hands in totality. You have to monitor. You have to monitor. You watch them, so you let them display whom they are and you tutor them rightly. So tarbiyatu nafsiyya. So that especially when they leave you, they will not be looking when they meet strange things. Where is daddy? Where is mommy? No, let them free. So that by the time they are on their own, they will know what to do. I will end it up by saying what one of the scholars said, that the best knowledge is ilmul hal. That the best knowledge is knowledge of condition. Then when you meet yourself in a condition, you should know what to do. And that is nothing but wisdom. And Al-Imam Ibn Qayyim said, what is wisdom? He said, if'alu ma yanbaghi, yani al-hikmah, wa if'alu ma yanbaghi, fi waqti alladhi yanbaghi, fi wajhi alladhi yanbaghi. That wisdom is doing the right thing at the right time, in the right way. Doing the right thing in the right time, in the right way. So those 3 features must come. When you see it, that person is blessed with wisdom. So you watch your children, you let them display their wisdom, then you believe them. I pray, may Allah give us best understanding of this discussion. Amen. Inshallah, if I'm given more opportunity, we'll continue this discussion. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It was just a very interesting topic, very interesting conversation with our Sheikh LUKMAN KHARASHI. Inshallah, I was just thinking, okay, should I just ask this brother to continue and the like, but my producer was behind me. He was behind me telling me, hey, you are running out of time. So inshallah, we are going to have the part 2 for this topic. Inshallah, baratullah. So by next month, inshallah, we're going to have part 2 for child upbringing in Islam, part 2. So inshallah, you're going to continue there. That's where you're going to answer all the questions being posted, have been posed to me here. So inshallah, we really appreciate your effort, your contribution, your scholarly talents being given to us on this program. We say jazakumullahu khairan jazak. Yeah, thank you very much. So this will be the end of our program for today on Jumat Tonic on the African Portal Radio TV International, Pretoria, South Africa. Till we meet next week, I hope you our listeners, our viewers, you can help us to share, and you help us to share. You like our page, you share, you go to YouTube also, you subscribe there. So before our guest speaker, before you leave, can you just do just a prayer for all Muslim brothers and sisters all over the world, all the Muslim children and the likes? So before you go.
Thank you very much. In fact, I supposed to have given some prayers in the course of discussion, but I was also looking at the time. So this prayer is very important. Allahumma rahmatak arju fala takilna ila anfusina tarfata ayn waslih lana shanana kulla la ilaha illa ant. I pray unto Allah Azza wa Jal to bless us individually and to bless us generally, to assist Islam and the Muslims, and to assist the world as a whole, to deliver us from the problems we are onto. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
Yeah, Jazakumullah khairan. This is the end of our program for today. I say Jazakumullah khairan again to our brother, our Sheikh LUKMAN KHARASHI, who has been giving us a spiritual tonic on the Friday program here today. We say Jazakumullah khairan. Also to our listeners and our viewers, we say thank you very much for joining us today on the African Portal Radio TV, Pretoria, South Africa. So till next week that we are going to meet, we say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
No, of course.
Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak. It is Friday, this is the best day. Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak, Jumma Mubarak. Waking up in the morning, got a special Friday feeling. Getting ready in my best clothes now. My juba looking crisp, going all out. Driving my ride to the masjid. Hearing the khutbah, it's a blessing. Now we're standing in the sun and we're praying. Then I greet our kids with assalamu alaikum. Friday is here and it is the best of days. When we go to the masjid and we all pray. There are blessings on this special day. Thank you, Allah. Thank you for this day. Jumma Mubarak. Jumma Mubarak. Jumma Mubarak. It is Friday. This is the best day. Jumma Mubarak. Jumma Mubarak. Jumma Mubarak. Someone on the prophet is